All right, thank you very much, Norm. Now, with a body count of 8, which could have been higher, Elizabeth Wettlaufer is one of Canada's most prolific serial killers. Joining me now is Dr. Michael Arntfield, an expert in this field. Thank you so much for joining us. I know you've been following this case. You've actually written about it in a new book of yours. Can you give us your first impressions, maybe about the confession we heard about today?
Well, I mean, it's a chilling confession. I think that's what everyone thinks. I think the first thing that stands out to me is the number of people in positions of trust and authority, for that matter, who knew about this before the police did and who didn't come forward. And I think that's going to be very closely scrutinized. And it reinforces what I say about all unsolved cases, which is that somebody always knows something. I also think her mindset is, or her alleged mindset is very interesting. And when I say interesting, wildly inconsistent with what we know about a lot of healthcare killers when looking at the 41 in the U.S. to date. But it's going to take some time to unpack all this for sure.
Obviously, the community, the family members of the victims are just trying to understand this. Can we really ever understand the psyche of someone who does something like this?
Well, we can try, and we've tried to package these people with labels and typologies and motivations and modus operandi, but the reality is that you often have to look into less obvious elements of their life. And I'm particularly interested, as you mentioned in my book, I analyze Wettlaufer's poetry that she was publishing online under a pen name. And that really, to everyone, I think, should offer a window into her mindset, which is that at the end of the day, she enjoyed, unfortunately, doing this. I mean, she talks about the inner laughter. She uses metaphors when describing killing people in her poetry. And I think, again, this is going to be a very important case study moving forward, certainly without precedent in Canada.
And people, obviously, who have family members in home care, they're worried about their loved ones. But is this a unique situation that we've been seeing with a healthcare provider like this?
It is unique. Healthcare killers are very rare, so they weren't even really tabulated until 1970, and we know of 41 in the U.S. since 1970. Healthcare workers do not rank in the top 12 jobs of serial killers. And compare 41 since 1970 to the fact that today the FBI knows that there are at least 400 active serial killing truckers on the interstate. So by way of comparison, and we're not hearing alarm bells go off about that, so by way of comparison, extraordinarily rare, and people need to bear that in mind.
Okay, thank you so much for your thoughts and your expertise tonight, Dr. Michael Arntfield. Well, a legal expert is now speaking out tonight over how rare today's guilty plea is when it comes to first-degree murder.